2018 Harley-Davidson Sportster 1200. It's been a while since we've done one of these rides, but it's not stressingly different. So this is going to be kind of like first impressions. I've never ridden the 1200 Sportster, but I have ridden a Sportster before. It was the Iron 883. So that's, you know, roughly 883 cc's. This one's 1200. So a bit more power, and it feels it. One thing that I can say is that this bike is very, very thin. It just feels so thin to me. My bike has a very wide fuel tank. This one does not. So whenever I get off one of my motorcycle and get onto one of these, it's, I don't know, it's a strange feeling. It's kind of like if anybody's ridden motorcycles for quite a while and then tries to hop on a, you know, like a bicycle, you're like, where's all the rest of it? But I mean, it sounds great. This bike feels excellent. Shifting is very, very smooth in this transmission. Power delivery is very good. Sound, of course, is amazing. And you know, Harley-Davidson is a really premium manufacturer when it comes right down to it. You know, the prices reflect that. I think the price on this bike, I'll have to look it up and throw it up on screen for you. But it's quite up there. But everything you touch, all of the switch gear, just feels very, very premium, very nice. All right. One thing is that I gotta tell you, the default peg position right here, which is, you know, right about mid bike, is not super comfortable for me. It just really isn't. Luckily, you know, of course, there's kits to move your controls forward, which you know, that I have set on. Not ridden one of those bikes, but I've set on one of those bikes that had the controls move forward. So much better, so much better. Highly would recommend that you do that. I don't know if it's just like a height thing. I'm 5'11", if you don't know. So if you're 5'11", then you might feel the same way, that you like to have the controls move forward. I'll tell you, it seems neutral's kind of hard to find on this motorcycle. Plus these pegs stick out quite wide here. So I've seen other reviewers where they said that these pegs kind of drag early and kind of often as well when you're going through twists. I don't know if you can see it on camera. You know, we're stopped here, and so I'm vibrating quite a bit. Like my vision is jumping around a lot. So hopefully that comes through on camera. Now, when you're riding, you don't feel the vibration. I didn't feel it in the handlebars. I didn't feel it in the pegs, not in the seat. You know, I didn't see it in the mirrors. Even sitting still, these mirrors, well, they're jumping around as much as me, so the mirrors look just fine. I do like, see on the Iron, you know, I suppose the handlebars are just a little bit lower. The mirrors didn't seem as functional because all I could see really was my shoulders. But you know, these are actually pretty good, and they have a kit. Actually, I don't even know if you need a kit. I think I've heard that you can just unscrew these and screw them in the bottom, and then the mirrors would be down under here, and of course it would just be looking under your arms, and then you have an unobstructed view. So that's really, really cool upgrade. So for switch gear, one thing with Harley-Davidson, we'll see it eventually when I get to take a turn, is that the right turn signal's on the right handlebar and the left turn signal's on the left handlebar, and so to cancel that turn signal you have to push it again, which is a bit different, you know, but I'm sure you get used to that pretty quickly. One thing I actually had to ask one of the guys here working at the dealership about this. running this demo ride, about this one switch here, because I hadn't seen it. You see right there with a circle? So what that does is it works the info right here. So you got your mileage, and you got trip A, trip B, there's the time, and what else you got? You got your gear, RPM. Alright, it's pretty cool. And then you go back and then you just get your regular odometer. I think this ride may actually end up being quite a bit longer. Now, I've done rides with this company before, and they usually turn, you know, maybe a quarter mile up the road here. There's the turnoff. I've seen the other videos where I've done demo rides from the same location, you know, but they were saying we were going to go quite a bit further down here, so this might actually end up being closer to like a 40-minute ride. We'll see. So far it's enjoyable. Now I talked to you about, you know, the leg position. My legs are pretty much even with the deck. Yeah, we're not turning, so yeah, it's going to be a longer one. Pretty much even with the deck, but I found that I've just got the problem in my hip. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. If you're around my height and you ride the bike, like you own it or you've ridden it before, did you have that issue? Maybe it's just me. Maybe I just have old man hips. There's every chance in the world of that actually being true. But yeah, let's see. So we're in 5th gear, we're going 50 miles an hour, so let's see the roll on right here, 2300 RPMs. Roll on's alright. Brakes are pretty good. Of course, this bike does have ABS. I saw someone had mentioned on a previous comment asking if what was it? I think it was the bolts. It was the V-Star bolts. They were asking if it had ABS. Sorry, I haven't gotten back to you yet, but the bolts has available ABS. This one, it has it on it. I don't know if it's an option or if it comes with it. I think for the price, it really should, and I would have to assume that it does. Another really cool accessory too, if you're coming from a motorcycle that has like a fuel gauge and you're like, oh, I'm bummed it doesn't have fuel, there's a really cool aftermarket accessory that sits right up here, and it's just a set of like 4 or 5 lights, blue ones, and as the lights go down, that means you have less and less fuel, so you can get a rough estimate of your actual fuel level, which is pretty cool. It's either that, or then you have to set your tripometer and, you know, your trip A or trip B, whichever one you want to set, and then just kind of eyeball it. I'd say that if you've not ridden motorcycles before, all the motorcycles that I've ever had usually get around 200 miles per tank. So once you get close to the 200 mile mark, you know, it behooves you to stop. It's not expensive to fill a bike like this. I'd say now, this tank being so narrow, I don't know what the fuel capacity is. I'll look it up and throw it up on the screen too. You know, probably 3.5 gallons, something like that. So it looks like they're opening up a little bit in here. The person that's actually at the front of this pack did say that he usually goes between 5 and 10 over the speed limit, so if you want to keep up with him, you can. You don't have to. You know, he also said if you get a ticket, that's on you. He's not riding your bike, you're riding your bike. Yeah. Check it out. You get to see a little bit of the area around here that we haven't done on one of these videos yet, so that's pretty cool. I'm digging this bike in front of me now. There's been a lot of news. Yeah, I might as well just take this opportunity to talk a little bit about some of the Harley-Davidson news that's been coming out. Harley-Davidson announcing some new bikes coming out over the next couple of years, including they're going to have a kind of an adventure bike, an ADV bike. It'll be able to do some off-roading, has knobby tires, kind of looks like it'll compete with other premium manufacturer adventure bikes like the BMW GS line, or maybe the Triumph Tiger. I like it. It looks really great. And also, if I remember right, there's going to be like a naked bike, like a street fighter, which is quite awesome. I've seen a lot of people actually take their Harley-Davidsons and modify them out to basically be that already. So it's cool that we're getting a factory option for those who are just getting into motorcycling, may not be a skill to do so. And on top of that as well, there's going to be an all-electric Harley-Davidson, which people didn't react to very well, it seems. This turn right here is pretty tight. You saw the light saying 30 miles an hour. In the area here, we call this Dead Man's Curve. It didn't look so bad right there, but then it goes right into another one. As far as the electric bike goes, you know, it doesn't really bother me. I'm gonna be honest. It's cool to diversifying and stuff like that. So if a person was really into electric commuting, or a person was just all about that electric life, then you know, give them an option. Otherwise, they're just going to buy it from someone else. It's not as though it should really cannibalize other Harley-Davidson sales. If you weren't going to buy an electric bike, you were never going to do it in the first place. And if you were going to buy an electric bike, then now you actually have a chance to pick up that customer that you definitely wouldn't have done before, since you didn't have something that offered what they were looking for. I guess they're chasing that millennial market. Personally, I'm a millennial. You know, does it really make me want to hop on that electric bike? It'd be worth checking out. I mean, it'd be cool. I'm not against checking it out. It's weird though, because one of the big iconic things about Harley-Davidson, I'm sure this is true worldwide, is, you know, the sounds. The sound. I think they've even trademarked the sound. And I've seen documentaries where Harley-Davidson takes motorcycles, and part of their quality testing is they put it into a sound chamber and they run the engine at certain RPMs, and they're listening for things to make sure that the sound is basically the classic Harley-Davidson sounds. Yeah, so we're going to be making a turn up here. So there's the right turn signal. That button barely moves. Okay, so watch. Okay, it looks more. It didn't feel like it moved. It's kind of like when you push I don't know, capacitive button on your touch screen, or if you have like an iPhone 8 where it doesn't actually have a button there. It's just a piece of glass, but it vibrates to make it feel like a button. You know, it feels like there's just no movement there. Not a bad thing. It's, you know, it's kind of premium, but just wanted to point it out. Just trying to talk about all the things that I'm experiencing as I'm experiencing them. And push the button again to cancel. This road right here is pretty twisty, and there's going to be a railroad. I think it's a railroad overpass. Yeah, it's a railroad overpass. It's really, really narrow. So when you come to it, when you're driving a car around here, it's basic etiquette to come to a full stop, you know, and then just kind of creep in there to see. And if you're pulling a trailer, or if you're a larger vehicle, usually they give a little honk just to let somebody know that they're coming through and there won't be enough room for another vehicle. So that'll be interesting. There's going to be some interstate riding on this one as well. It usually is on these videos, but it's going to be a little bit further because we've gone further down. This road also has some pretty big dips too, so that's going to be fun. I honestly can't remember if I've ever ridden this road on a motorcycle before, so that's going to be fun. So 5-speed transmission on this motorcycle. Just check that out. Personally, I really like it when manufacturers give you a 6th gear that you can get up to on the interstate. Just a really nice overdrive cruising gear. You know, this 5th gear is doing well. It's 2,500 RPMs at 55 miles per hour, so it's basically overdrive and good cruising and stuff. That's just, I don't like it when you get on the interstate and you really have to wind it out, and it feels like you don't have a lot of revs left. It's the thing I experience on my current motorcycle, because it's only a 5-speed, and you really just don't feel like you have very much headroom once you get up to 5th gear and then get up to 60 or 70 miles per hour. It's got a small cowling right here. I can't tell if it's really helping with the wind. I suppose it is. It's very windy today. I don't feel like my head's getting buffeted, so it's really, it's got to be doing something. Kind of, I don't know if you dig the look. It's completely subjective. Personally, I don't really dig the look of having this small little cowling on here. I'd rather have it off, just have the headlight. I think it looks just good as is. But your mileage may vary on that. Now this is, I would say the Iron 883, like if you're a new rider, the Iron 883 is really accessible as a bike. You know, of course it's cheaper than this 1200 as well, and then eventually if you wanted to step up to 1200 you could. You probably, if you're really mature, you may be able to start on a 1200, but that's gonna be up to you. 1200 on a cruiser like this is so much different than a 1200 and or like a 1000, for instance, cc super sport bike like the Gixxer 1000 that I reviewed. You just tune so much differently. But you know, this bike, if back when I was a beginner back in 2011, I could. I would have started on the 883 just to be safe, to be honest. I gotta say it though, I do really like this bike. It's fantastic. When you're buying a Harley-Davidson, you really are buying more into an experience. Plus, you know, there's already a brotherhood in motorcycling, or a sisterhood, you know. You have a motorcycle if you're at a rest area or something like that, a restaurant, there's other motorcycles about. Everybody wants to come up and talk to you about your motorcycle. It doesn't matter what you ride, really. You know, even though I ride a cruiser, before that I had a sport bike, and even people on cruisers were still, you know, very friendly. They always wanted to chit-chat and stuff, talk about motorcycling, you know, places where you've ridden, places that are cool around here to ride, you know, scenic areas. This is the one-lane railroad bridge I was talking about here. Of course, one lane's not going to be a big deal with us on these bikes. And see, it says yield, and so you come to a stop right here on the shark teeth. All right. Gosh, this just sounds so good. Thinking back to it now my motorcycle sounds quiet in comparison. So nice. I'm putting in little sections of me just being quiet so you can just enjoy the engine sound. The little motorcycle wave there. More of a point, really. It's probably just me being thick though. Riding position, you know, as far as, you know, from you know, your torso up and stuff. It feels pretty good. It's a very neutral position. Bars coming back pretty nicely to meet my hands. They're not stretched out. Arms are bent quite a bit actually. It feels kind of close, like you I don't know, like maybe at a quarter push-up or something. I don't really know a good metric to use here. Feels pretty good. Seats. The seat isn't bad. You know, I don't feel any pressure points or anything from the seat. It's not so bad. I had no idea if this is a stock seat. A lot of the motorcycles that I was seeing today here at this dealership were customized already. You know, custom pipes, adding cowlings and stuff like this. I saw a couple with different handlebars swapped out. But it feels good. See the person ahead there is pointing with his foot towards things in the road. I saw him pointing some roadkill before. That was a belt or something. Alright, we're about to get on the interstate here, so see what that's like. I tell you, cruising around though is pretty great. This is an excellent boulevard cruiser. So like if you live in an urban area, this bike right here, ultimate cool factor. Oh, this must have self-canceling turn signals. I'm gonna try, see if it does. All right, everybody. So I'm pretty sure that my camera kind of conked out back there, so you didn't get to see the last bit of the ride and the interstate. What I can say, as kind of like thoughts about the interstate ride, is that the bike was excellent on the interstate. Even in 4th and 5th gear, doing 70 and 75. The bike was turning real low RPMs. It was nice. It was comfortable. It wasn't screaming in my ears. It was very nice. Slightly comfortable, more comfortable seat would be excellent. Throw one of those on. You know, you just eat up the miles. Overall, impressions of the bike is that it's pretty excellent. So if you're in the market for especially something in like an urban environment, that bike is just the tops. Highly recommended. Anyway, thank you for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Out.